Hey everybody, welcome. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Derek Newman, and today we're going to be talking about the Sony a6500 and the pros and cons of that camera. So, the Sony a6500 has been out for a while, and like this review, you've probably seen very many reviews of that camera. So instead of doing the specs and everything like that, I'll just post that in the description. I'm going to talk about what worked for me and what didn't. So the first thing that I really liked about this camera was the sensor. Amazing quality right out of it. I have a lot of control over how it looks and what I can do with it in post. It was the most flexible camera I've ever filmed with yet. Some of the footage that you're going to be seeing right now is from my trip to Wyoming on the solar eclipse, and I had to grade it quite a bit to get some good skin tones, but I really liked that. I really liked having the control of the color, how much saturation was in there, how much sharpness, and to be able to edit that was something new to me, and I really enjoyed it. My second thing that I really liked about this camera was the size. The size of this camera is just so small and phenomenal. I just love having a lightweight but powerful tool at my hands, especially on my traveling vlogs and just vlogs in general. It really helps because it takes that much less time to set up, as well as to whip it around and lug it around and things like that. If I had this giant rig or big camera, it just doesn't work like that. One gig that I actually had was the Ursa Mini Pro. We actually, my friend and I, when we did this gig, we tried it out and it just didn't work. I mean, it was so big and bulky, and yeah. So the a6500 poses a really, really good solution to that. So my third pro for this camera is gonna have to go to the buttons. Now, a lot of people don't like this camera for that, and I didn't either until I started using it. But to have only a few select amount of custom functions really allows me to set what I really need, not to have all this other stuff around that I could potentially use but not really. It really makes me think about what I'm going to be doing filming and how am I going to use these custom buttons to my advantage. I really enjoyed the use of it. I mean, it didn't get me confused. It didn't get me sidetracked with other settings. It just was right there, and I can easily change everything, no problem. Let's get into the bad things about this camera. The a6500, the Sony a6500, has a lot of great things going for it and a very big consumer base. A lot of people love this camera. A lot of vloggers that I watch on a daily basis use this camera, even though it doesn't have a flip-out screen, which is my first point. That flip-out screen, man, I love my Canon camera for having that, and if I had a Sony camera, I would not be able to see myself while filming vlog style, which I predominantly do right now, and it's annoying to have to always reframe myself or just guess. And I know I can have a wide angle lens and get that over with and just have it completely zoomed out and then just rely on autofocus, but sometimes I really like setting up my shots, and it just really sucks that I have to have that monitor, or I can't even like flip it out or anything. I just have to rely on that. It's a big bummer. The second biggest problem for me is going to be battery life. Now, I can get around with that by having multiple batteries. For my Wyoming trip, I think I brought 7 or 8 batteries with me to get through the whole entire event. Now, what was really great was that a lot of it was driving, so I actually only used about 4 or 5 a day, but still, I mean, that's a lot. And if I'm doing a wedding or any kind of gig or anything like that, I'm gonna have to bring all that with me, make sure they're all charged, and keep on charging throughout the day. That is just not how I want to go through an event, to just always be worrying about battery life, especially when I want to be able to just press record and leave it going for a half hour. And if I'm going to be down at 45, 35, percent, and then that one moment during a live event where I need that battery life, I'm going to have to take the time to switch, and it's just not going to work out. So, big con, the battery life. Really big con for me. So for my third and final complaint or problem with this a6500, the Sony a6500, is going to be the rolling shutter. It sucks to be able to, think you had a really good shot and you caught the action and you're running and gutting it, and then all of a sudden you look back at your footage and there's a bunch of jello-y shots everywhere. Bunch of rolly shutter, not straight lines, and you try fixing it in post and it never usually works out. Now, I know a lot of people aren't going to notice it. I know a lot of people who don't really look for that kind of stuff will be like, yeah, you know, that's okay, I can deal with that. But to me as a filmmaker, it's really important to have a clean image coming out of the camera, especially for movement, especially for fast action. I don't want to have to be thinking about that all the time. I don't want to have to be worrying about if I were to whip the camera one way or you know, put it down or set it down on a table, it's going to have rolling shutter throughout that image. And there are cameras out there that are better at handling rolling shutter, even mirrorless cameras. So that would be my final complaint for this camera. For my next video, I don't know when I'm going to be posting that. I've been kind of intermittent with my posts lately. Life gets in the way, as well as other obligations, as I have mentioned before on this channel. But please stick with me, guys. I know this is a work in progress, and I hope to be bringing you more content throughout the holidays, as well as into next year. So for now, I will say thank you for coming, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.